It's Sid, swish, Kamala. Right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, innit?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm gonna be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Okay, so this is obviously comedy, but does it shed light on some serious hypocrisy from those who take offense by it? Let's discuss this. What's up, gang? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel, and we are running up on the last few days of the election. And today, while perusing the YouTubes, I came across this funny little piece that kind of hit me sideways. And like I said, this is comedy. It's just parody. It's fun, but it does kind of bring up an interesting point, a key difference between the two candidates that are running for the election. And I want to discuss that. And I want to know from you, how do you feel about this? I want to know what your reaction is. So let's watch the whole little parody commercial in full, and then let's come back and talk about what this really means and what its significance is. Cut to the clip.
Content creators keep coming up with gems like this.
It's Sid, swish, Kamala. Right.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, innit?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm gonna be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Yes, Accent Switch Kamala can even do a German accent and comes with a bunch of useful accessories.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, ufta, ufta.
It's Sid, swish, Kamala. Right.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
The tampon Tim at the end, I wasn't ready for that. And the little stumps coming out of the side. Okay, so that was funny. It was entertaining. So let's talk about this for a minute. And I, again, want to know what your feelings are about this, and why something like this parody even comes about. So Accent Switch Kamala, changing her accents depending on who she's speaking to. Code switching, that's what some people call it. And everybody does this. I mean, is it an overreaction? I mean, I'll admit, when I'm around my family, I talk a little bit differently than when I'm in a professional setting. I'll talk differently when I'm with my college buddies, my close friends. It just depends if I'm out in the country or if I'm in the city or what have you. But I think there probably is a little bit of a difference when I'm speaking to a crowd of people, when I'm public speaking, when I'm trying to relate to people and knowing where there's a line that I have to draw, where I'm not going to go overboard. Now, sure, I might switch up my accent when I'm speaking in front of a crowd. I might do that, but there is a baseline where people understand, well, what's real? And when am I doing this for comedic effect? Or am I really being serious? And then one thing's for sure. Okay, everybody knows that I am black. Well, not everyone. Some people tend to get a little mixed up. I've been called lots of things. I've been called Mexican. I've been called Indian. I've had a lot of people think I'm from India. I've been called Iranian, Ethiopian, Eritrean, Mexican. Yeah, Mexicans in there. And then I've got friends from Egypt who swear that I look exactly like their Egyptian relatives. So there's a little bit of a mix-up sometimes where people don't know what I am, because as I age, my hair is getting straight. I used to have an afro. My skin is light because my dad is very light complected, and so is my mom. I didn't get the really dark skin genes from my grandmother. So sometimes people are confused about what I am, right? But there's no denying the fact that I am what would be called an FBA, and that stands for Foundational Black American. Okay, so the culture that I grew up with kind of matches the DNA, all right? I'm a descendant of slaves in the United States. I've researched the history all the way back on both sides of the family, and there's no question about that. No question at all. And when you talk to me about my background, my upbringing, the culture, it's pretty much like grew up in a black church, Black Baptist church. We didn't do Kwanzaa. I didn't celebrate Kwanzaa, anything like that. And in fact, my dad used to teach that Kwanzaa is not a Christian belief system. So I grew up in a traditional black family. Yeah, we ate collard greens and traditional soul food. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit of my background there. And when you meet me, it's what you see is what you get. And there's no question that I am trying to be something that I am not. Or put it this way, I've never been accused of trying to use code switching to leverage my influence over a particular group of people. Now, the question is, getting back to the topic, does this code switching, this accent switch, Kamala, does it help or hurt? Does it help or hurt? And I'll admit, sometimes they blow it a little bit out of proportion. Like when she was speaking with the Hispanic accent, I had to play the video several times before I picked up on it. And then finally I was like, yeah, she kind of did throw on a little bit of a Hispanic accent in that particular video, reacting to the person that yelled out, "We love you." And it's not heavily overdone. Okay. It's not like hideously obvious on some of the videos. And then on other ones, it kind of is, especially the black church speech. In fact, I kind of draw comparisons between that black church speech that we just heard a few days ago with another noteworthy person that we heard give a black accent in front of a black church that didn't quite sound so normal.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
And I have faith he is going to carry us forward, and the road ahead won't be easy. It will require perseverance and hard work, but in times of uncertainty, Scripture reminds us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
All right, so there you have it. We do see a little bit of a similarity there. And I think that where it could possibly hurt, because when we're trying that hard and you don't sound naturally like a black preacher, combined with the fact that there's all this discussion of when did you even latch on to black culture? You know, when did it happen? Did it happen early in childhood? Did it happen in college? Does going to an HBCU and pledging a black sorority give you the right to do that? Or does it do you more harm than it does good? Okay, so of course everybody has seen all of the Candace Owens reports where she researches into the genealogy on genealogy.com of Kamala Harris. And we come to find out that what I reported in a previous video about her racial background, I was wrong. Because I said that, yeah, there's probably a little bit of black in her lineage. And now I'm convinced that that is not the case. So at some point she decided that, okay, I relate to black culture, and that's fine. You know, Rachel Dolezal related to black culture, and she became the chapter president of an NAACP chapter until it was discovered that she curled her hair and darkened her skin and her completely appropriated black culture. No harm in that, right? Because she was doing good things for the NAACP. But when does it become harmful? So yeah, you can embrace the black culture, and black people are one of the few ethnicities, one of the few cultures on planet Earth that just let everybody in. If you just say you're black and you think you're black, well, come on in and we'll call you black. And that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. But where it goes wrong is when you might possibly be using this for nefarious reasons, just to leverage your chances at attaining key positions in government. And then where I find it to be hurtful or harmful is when your actions don't follow up with these allegiances that you have pledged. So she says she's black, fine, we'll give her that. You're black now. Great, let's just go with that. We welcome you with open arms. But then when we look at the history and the actions of this person, this is where it's harmful. So the Asians and Pacific Islanders received $26.4 billion in 2022 in set-asides and no-bid contracts. What does that even mean? It means that business owners within that ethnic group were able to get these juicy government contracts with no competition. It's like handing you money on a silver platter, right? $26.4 billion. But then when we see her sitting down in an interview with a black reporter where she says, her reaction to the question, will you pass legislation specifically for black people concerning reparations? And the answer is, no, I'm not going to pass any legislation that specifically benefits black people. Of course not. Then that's where I kind of start to scratch my head and say, well, hey, if you're going to go so far as to be a person that grew up from family that is a combination of Indian, Irish, white Jamaican, Irish Jamaican, Hindu, and all of that good stuff. You grew up in Canada, then you finally come to the state of California. If you're going to grow up there and then you latch on to black culture, but then you drop the ball and say that you're not going to pass legislation that specifically benefits black people while you did that in the year 2022 to the sum of $26.4 billion, it's harmful. Why? It's because you're giving the Asians and Pacific Islanders an upper hand. You're giving them leverage. You're giving them an unfair advantage. Now, I am of the belief that there are several things that have happened to the black community since the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. We're talking laws and rules that were passed that kept us from moving forward. So we have a situation where today a lot of other cultures had a head start on black people, and that's fine. We're never going to get reparations. That's okay. We're smart enough to figure it out. I don't need reparations. But when you look at the fact that we're giving these other ethnic groups this big fat, money in the form of no bid contracts and set asides, but then you are not of the belief that reparations are appropriate for the black community, then I got a problem with it. Now, reparations for the black community would be nearly impossible to figure out how you would go about doing it. It would be tough. And then on the other hand, you just slid the Asians and Pacific Islanders $26.4 billion without even discussing it. In the same breath, you say, well, reparations for black people should be studied. Why is it that whenever reparations for black people comes up, we have to do a study? But then when it comes to Asians and Pacific Islanders, we just hand over the money on a silver platter. Where was the study for that? How come we didn't study that before we handed them $26.4 billion? Well, what's all that got to do with the race appropriation issue and the switching of accents? Well, here's what it has to do with it. I think it's being done with nefarious intent because she wants to get the votes and wants the black population to come out on election day, cast the vote, and get her into power based on no promise that there's going to be anything given back to us. I got a problem with that. So I don't want to hear you preaching in front of a church using a black accent that completely sounds unnatural, because I'm not convinced that you grew up in a black church. Yeah, she says that she did. I don't know how that's possible when your mother was a Hindu. Your father, I don't believe I've seen any reports of him holding steadfast to the black church. I don't know where that comes from, but she says she did, so that's fine. But it doesn't make it believable when you throw on a Hillary Clinton-esque black accent speaking in front of a black church. And I personally, it's kind of offensive to me. You know, it's just like when I was in high school and back in the good old days where bigotry was a lot different than it is today. I remember my white friends coming up to me, "Hey, Carlton, what's up, bro? Slap me some skin, brother." And they would call me, "Hey, my black brother." And they would throw on this hideously stereotypical black accent to try to relate to me in a fun and teasing way. And that was offensive. I didn't appreciate that. Well, I get the same vibes when I hear her speaking in front of a black church with that same non-authentic accent that sounds like a white person trying to talk black. And I'm like, okay, now I don't say slide me some skin, brother. So I don't appreciate when a white person comes up to me talking like that. Much in the same way that there are probably a lot of people that don't appreciate her throwing on the "we ain't no ways tired" and "joy comes in the morning." And the result of this is the parody that we just saw at the beginning of the video, where she's being teased and being called accent switch Kamala. The accent switching, the cackling, the laughing, I don't know. I guess maybe it's going a little bit far putting a focus on it, but it doesn't give her a presidential feel to me. I can see her accent switching and laughing while negotiating with Vladimir Putin or sitting down with Kim Jong-un. What? Is she going to put on a Korean accent when she speaks to Kim Jong-un? And is she going to laugh during that conversation while discussing issues that affect the lives of people all over the world? I don't know. Now, some people are going to be offended by this video. They're going to be highly offended. So while you're in your rage and probably, going bananas and spitting and cussing in the comments, I want you to remember this. Think about your feeling right now and how offended you are with this video because we're shedding light on accent switch Kamala. And think about my feelings that I had when white people used to do this same thing to me while I was growing up. And then I want you to tell me, what the heck is the difference? Hey guys, pass this on and share it with a friend, and let's continue to grow this new base of people that appreciate the coverage that I give in politics as we talk about the election and then move on forward from there. Once the election is done, we're going to keep this going, and we're going to keep reporting on political events and ideas and opinions. And I am looking for more people who appreciate the ability to have sensible, kind discussions about our differences and the things where we can agree. Everybody is welcome to post in the comments, and that is about all I got for this one. This is Carlton, and I am out.